the bizarreness that is just going on right now. It's almost like the nothing in Never Ending Story. And that's what it is. So I've talked about the Archons, I've talked about the Wetiko virus, because they explain it really, really well. And it's the same as, you know, my research from the Gnostic texts of the Archons. They're basically like non-local parasites. They're like the magnetic end of the electromagnetic spectrum, separated from source God. They don't source from the creator. They source their energy through humans. And unfortunately, if a human has separated from the creator and has denied God, they will become a dark portal for these entities. Hi lovelies, it's Sundar from Substance Over Style. Welcome to a new video. So I hope you're doing really, really well. I wanted to jump on here because A, I promised you guys I'd do a video every week, and B, I've had a couple of client calls over the last 2 weeks, and this came up a couple of times, about, you know, women carrying this wound of not feeling beautiful enough and not feeling like they're pretty in, or like beautiful or attractive in the kind of way that they need to be in order to be attractive to men or their partners. It's a wound that a lot of us carry, so I wanted to speak to it. But I've also been feeling really, really weird, like not just the last week, but especially the last week. But definitely over the last it's been steadily growing over the last year, and I feel like it's building up to something. So I've just been in my womb cave for like the last 3 days. Usually I take like at least 1 day or maybe 2 days when I'm on my period just to red tent and just to kind of chill and do nothing and put absolutely no pressure on myself, because if I put a lot of pressure on myself to be in yang mode when my body is at its most yin, I get all kinds of problems with my womb. It really starts cramping up. Like, I already get cramps. The last few months was a lot better because I did a couple of different like womb healings with like different practitioners, and mainly with my mentor Emily Harris, who I've talked about before, and then it felt so much better. It was almost like there was no pain, and I was able to actually just work straight through that month and not actually take a day off. But this month really like hit me quite badly. So, and it wasn't just the pain, it was also like I was wiped out. I was like super tired. My mum also said that she was super wiped out and tired. She wasn't on her period. She doesn't have periods anymore, and she was saying a couple of other people were feeling the same. A couple of people that I've spoken to in my communities on Facebook have been saying they're feeling really like dense, heavy energy. The Schumann resonance is like going crazy off the charts at the moment. So definitely I feel like something is happening, and I'm actually really feeling very called to cocoon myself and not really share too much with the outside world. Like, I've been posting on Facebook because I have a smaller community on Facebook who is a bit more closely vetted than what I have on Instagram. I have like a lot of followers and I don't know who they all are, and same on YouTube. I don't have that. I've got like maybe 4,000, 5,000 subscribers here, but it's kind of much more open and anybody can kind of see your videos. So yeah, I'm feeling very called to like just not speak too openly about what's going on, but I will say that I think that something's going down. I've been praying every day because I think right now we need prayer more than ever, because what I personally think is happening right now is we are seeing the consequences of living in a godless world where people have rejected the creator. And not that I've been watching a lot of so my mentor Emily sent us a video which I will link. It's Howard Storm, who had a near-death experience in the, when was it? I mean, the interview is from the 80s, I think it was. I'm not sure exactly when he had the experience, but he talks about this near-death experience where he met God. Actually met he went to hell. He actually went to hell, and then he called for Jesus, and Jesus came and saved him from hell. And then he spoke to God, and he spoke to the angels, and he was shown a life review and all of that stuff. And it's very consistent with my research on what happens when we die after reading Robert Monroe's books, which I talked about in my video. These are the most life-changing books, so I'll link that as well. But definitely, if you're, I think right now a lot of people, especially people who don't have any kind of faith or any kind of spiritual beliefs, are living in a state of fear. And when we grow up in a society that tells us that there is no God and there is no creator, and science, everybody believes in the religion of science, as we tend to in the Western world, largely, this is the religion of science. This is what we're seeing right now. We keep on hearing this mantra, trust experts, because apparently experts know more than we do. Don't trust our own God-given intuition, because we do have that, but most people are operating out of their left brain only, because our right brain has been suppressed for eons. For a really, really long time, the right brain is the feminine, the intuitive aspect of knowledge. Mark Passio talks about the trivium, which is the threefold path to understanding the truth, and it involves logic, which is the left brain, understanding, which is the right brain, and wisdom, which is the divine marriage of the two, the hieros gamos, the sacred union. That's where you come to know the truth. The truth is God. God is love. God is truth. And he is the alchemical wedding. He, she. We experience God through the alchemical wedding of the masculine and the feminine, logic and intuition. And unfortunately, because the feminine has been so suppressed in society, we have our right brain suppressed. It is, they've done it through various means. One of the ways in which they've done it is through language. So the language that we use actually prevents us from fully understanding each other. We can only perceive that which we already understand, which is why when I talk to you, and most of you who follow me and who resonate, you resonate with what I'm saying, it's because you're receiving the transmission. Some people won't resonate because they won't understand the words, because they haven't experienced what I'm talking about. We can only perceive at the level that we have been taught to understand. We can't learn, you can't learn things that are too far above your own level using the English language, because there's so much double speak. If you want to know more about that, then watch Lifting the Veil. My friend Colin Smith, he talks a lot about that, about etymology, and how the Phoenicians came down and they said, let us go down and corrupt their language so that they don't understand each other. Because originally humans used to speak using vibrational tones, like light language basically. It was the language of the soul, of the heart, and it had no alphabet, no grammar, no structure. It was just pure transmission that you would receive telepathically, because both of your brain hemispheres were online. So this, I think this is why we're being told to trust experts without looking into things ourselves. The Washington Post just published, was it the Washington Post or the New York Post, who just posted an article saying, don't go down the rabbit hole, that critical thinking is actually dangerous, and you should only trust the first 5 links that that are posted on Google, because you shouldn't research things that you don't know about. Like literally, I feel like I'm going crazy looking at what's going on in the outside world. I'm so grateful that the people around me that I have built up in my online community are awake and aware enough to see that this is bullshit. And yeah, just very grateful for them. And some people would call it an echo chamber. Fine, I don't care. I do not want to be surrounded by idiots. I do not want to be surrounded by people who have not done the work to awaken their God selves, to connect to the divine, and to trust God, and to trust their own intuition, and to seek knowledge themselves, and to understand that, yeah, okay, sometimes you might not know everything, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't be open to learning. So unfortunately, I think that so many people who aren't on the path, who haven't, gone through their various dark nights of the soul, will be really probably struggling right now, and are hosting entities that are saying things to them, that are telling them, oh, don't trust this or don't trust that. And they'll say different things to you in your head. That's what I talked about in my video, Stop Feeding the Archons. They'll say little things to you. They're basically feeding on your wounds. And so you don't trust yourself because you can't hear your own voice in amongst all the voices of the different thought forms and the entities that are feeding on your wounds. This is why healing yourself is so important at this time. So yeah, I literally, I made a comparison today. I shared a post today, talking about like the bizarreness that is just going on right now. It's almost like the nothing in Never-Ending Story, and that's what it is. So I've talked about the Archons, I've talked about the Wetiko virus, that in indigenous people coined, I think, in the Native American tradition. I'm not sure exactly which culture it comes from, but look into the Wetiko virus, because they explain it really well, and it's the same as my research from the Gnostic texts of the Archons. They're basically like non-local parasites. They're like the magnetic end of the electromagnetic spectrum. Archangels are at the electric end, humans are in the middle, and then you've got Archons at the bottom that are separated from Source God. They don't source from the Creator, they source their energy through humans. And unfortunately, if a human has separated from the Creator and has denied God, they will become a dark portal for these entities, and then they will need to find other people to feed off of. So, I talked about that in my video on narcissists and what's going on with them. A lot of them are just dark portals for entities. That's why they have this like parasitic energy where they will just feed on you. And if you're an empathic person that tends to be more spiritual, and you're sourcing from your Creator, you will have this life force energy that flows through you, where you want to give and you want to help and you want to heal people and support people. So you see this kind of wounded creature, and you want to pour love into them, but you can't, because they're like a bottomless pit. Like literally, if they're hosting entities, those entities are connected to other entities as well. So they'll have other entities that are feeding on them. So this is why you'll find that, like, if you're in a relationship with a narcissist, not only will that narcissist be feeding on you, but they'll be feeding other entities that are being hosted by other people around them as well. I don't want to go too deep into it, but yeah, that's what's happening. So yeah, like, pray. Like that's all I can say. Pray and heal your wounds, and seal up your energy field, and don't let people feed on you. So yeah, that's the work we need to be doing. Now I want to talk about beauty, because that was something that came up in... Actually, I'll talk about it in another video. Okay, so yeah, I'll just end that there, and I will talk about beauty in another video, and I'll post that separately, because otherwise it will get too long. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video, and peace out. One love.
you're introduced to LSD, and unless you've taken some other drug, like for instance, like marijuana or something, well, you know, it's an altogether new thing, and you actually can have a religious experience